What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another weekly analysis with the Winner Circle Trader. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend, and yeah, I look forward to a good week this week. Um, I guess a few things are happening. Let's start with that actually. Let's start with the news that's happening this week. All right, so here it is. Monday, starting off with no news whatsoever. It's a no news Monday. What does that mean? You do not touch your accounts, especially the day before CPI. All right. Tuesday, do not touch your accounts until 8:30. Wait for price to kind of calm down, 8:32, 8:35, whatever, and then start looking for trades until 11 a.m. and then basically stop. The same thing goes for Wednesday. You just wait until news does what it does at 8:30, and then you can kind of trade until 11 again. Usually, what happens during news at 8:30, either it's going to be chopping until market open, and then market open is going to be good price action, or otherwise we just have really great price action immediately, and then market opens just going to chop. But that's just something to note. So it's the same exact trading plan for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You just wait until 8:30 does what it does, and you start looking for trades after 8:35 or so, and just stop trading at 11. Friday, there's not much happening, but there is some volume injection occurring in the market, so it should be tradable. But yeah, you could actually just skip it if you had 3 good days, right? Because me personally, I would not want to give anything back to the market if I've already had 3 solid days. So with that said, let's get into the actual analysis. So what I noticed immediately on the weekly chart is that previous week's candle swept the high off the week prior, and it's closed bearish. Even though it is a doji candle and it is quite indecisive, it does go along with the narrative I went with in the previous weekly analysis, which was we already had a bullish run up. We've had an expansion. We took out all-time high, and what do I expect here? I expect a consolidation. So this is not surprising whatsoever. However, this week, because we do have 3 concurrent high high volume news days, I think we should have some expansion. And what I'm expecting this week, although Tuesday, of course, could just do whatever it wants, it could just blast up. What I'm expecting this week, however, is a retrace back to the weekly fair value gap. And I would like to look for longs down here in discount. Now, if you go into the daily chart, we can actually look for some good targets. What I see here on the daily chart are a swing low here and a swing low here. That goes along with the buys for targets. Um, Now we do have a swing high at the top, but we also created an SMT with ES, and what I'm expecting due to that is for it to be respected, unless of course CPI just blasts up, right? Which it can absolutely do. So basically just gonna have an open mind for Tuesday. I'm gonna allow CPI to do whatever it does, so it doesn't really matter what I think. However, going back into maybe even the 1 hour chart, what I see here is that we're inside a BPR here, but also a bearish fair value gap here. So this is literally the epitome of a no trade zone, and all we're gonna want to wait for is. So yeah, my mic just got cut off. I don't know why, but basically what I was gonna say is that all we're looking for is a breakup structure to the downside or up, preferably with a candle closure to know what the bias is going to be in the short run. So if the market opens bullish, we're just looking for higher prices. If the market opens bearish and kind of secures a closure below the fair value gap or even the lows, we're just expecting the sell side to get ran. Now, we do also have a fair value gap to the left here that could be respected, and the price could just move back up to all-time highs. And that's actually quite possible because Tuesday we have CPI. So Monday it might not do much at all. And if CPI kind of starts off somewhere around here, we could just get a pump up due to, CPI just constantly pumping up since the past few weeks, right? Well, months. But what I ideally want is for price to keep moving lower until at least this low is hit. But I would not at all mind for price to kind of go a lot deeper, and then we get a move back up. Now, it does look like I'm asking for a lot, but this is actually not that big of a move. It's just that we've been consolidating for a whole week, so it looks like a big move. So this might be a little bit advanced for some people, but I did draw out a standard deviation projection for how far price could go lower. And it does support that we could indeed get a retracement as deep as this. So definitely not going to be surprising if we do take out all these lows, especially since this kind of even looks like low resistance liquidity. So I wouldn't at all be surprised if this all gets taken out quite fast. Anyways, I'm not here to just speculate that market is going to dump, right? We have to have an open mind, so it doesn't really matter what I think. The market could actually just open at the highs, right, and just keep going higher. And basically, the most important aspect of trading, I would say, is to just have an open mind. To just trade what you actually see, not what you hope for, not what you want. And also, of course, just do what you already know you're supposed to do. Follow your rules, stick to your strategy, and use good risk. Anyways, if this helped at all, you better have already subscribed and you better have already liked. If you didn't already, like the video right now and subscribe immediately. With that said though, enjoy tomorrow. Tomorrow is a free day. There's no need to trade. So if you forgot what I said in the beginning, go back and check the trade schedule, which is basically me going over the news, and follow that, and you'll do much, much, much better than you would have otherwise. And yeah, stick to your strategy, follow your rules, use good risk, you'll be fine. I'll see you next week.